Yo, we're back with another one today. Today, we're talking about a manga that I avoided for too long. I didn't had this on my list for like a couple years now, and it's Rainbow. So let's get straight to it. Okay, so this manga was made by George Abe. This came out in November 21st, 2002. I wasn't even alive then. That I can tell you that how young I am. But he ended up passing away a couple years ago. So I was like, dang. But I had this manga on my list for quite some time now. I got recommended this by the Masked Man from one of his videos. And I was just like, it's just been on the list for like at least 2 or 3 years. And I've avoided it for way too long. So before, I'm gonna just go ahead and recommend this part. I'm gonna do my little recommendation parts and just and tell you what it's about real quick, and then I'm gonna get into spoilers. I'll let you know when spoilers are coming up. So this manga, I have to say, is very, very, very like sensitive. It has like assault on children. It has some crazy stuff. You know, the word ape, you know what I'm saying? And it got like a lot of highly sensitive topics in there and a lot of stuff that goes on, because this was a time like early, I'm pretty sure like in the 50s, behind the war and all that, and you have some like Americans that treat Japanese people kind of crazy over there while they're in Japan. And it's actually insane when I really look at it. But this manga is really good, and it makes me think like, why didn't I read this sooner? But I'm glad I'm reading it now. But it does have a decent amount of dark turns in there, but it has a lot of hopeful moments. So you have multiple main characters in this, and they start out very young and early. This ain't spoilers yet, but you'll get to learn about the majority of these characters throughout the whole entire series. I'm not gonna say anything about what happens in this until it's time for spoilers, and then get your ass out of here if you haven't read it yet. You got Joe, you got Cabbage, aka Kayabata, you got Mario, you got Suppan, my goat right there. You got Sagaragi, aka Achan, and then you got Hayate and Barameto. Those are the main cast of our characters right there, and we start off in a prison or a juvenile detention center. And we have a guy named Ishida, where he torments the fuck out of Sakuragi. My fault. Sakuragi been there for a couple years before the other 6 boys arrived, and he's like a year or two older than them. So he's been tormented by him a lot, just off of his willpower and how much, cause the prison they're in is very corrupt, or the juvenile center they're in is very corrupt, and you get to see some kind of crazy stuff that they do to them children in there, and it's actually insane. You get to learn about so much in here, and it's some foul shit. When I mean it's some foul shit, bro, I say just be prepared, because it's more sensitive. I'll say this right now. This manga feels like it has multiple genres and titles. Little voice crack. I feel like from one moment it went from a revenge manga, a prison manga, a boxing manga. Like, it has it all. Action manga, a romance manga. We had like, it literally went to me, that's how genres felt for it. Like, every arc had like a different type of flair to it. And I feel like it was really, really, really good. It was like, I was like, when I was reading it, I'm like, how come I didn't read this sooner? It was so fucking good. All right. Get the fuck out of here. Spoilers. Get the fuck out of here. Spoilers. If I did a good job, let me know, recommending it to you. But other than that, if you want to be spoiled, you have been warned. I'm about to get into spoilers now. So personally, throughout this series, I think it was hard for me to rank who my favorite character was, because there's like 3 of them that really stand out to me, and it's Mario, Suppan, and Hayate. I think Mario is my favorite, then Suppan. it's so close between them two because Supon and Mario. I mean, all of them are riders, but Supon and Mario are like some real ride or die friends. Hayate as well, but I mean, I could literally say this about every character in here. Barameto got his head slammed in. He got sent to the hospital a couple times off some shit, and I'm like, bro, it is so hard for me to like pick between the characters I like. And just going through their backstories, the shit Joe and Megu had to endure. Joe literally got assaulted as a kid, bro, in a sexual way, bro. That is actually crazy. Supon's family got bombed. It's just like, damn, bro. It's really fucking crazy when I think about it. It feel like a lot of people just can't be trusted in this manga, and that's how Barameto came out the first place. Whether he was using that money for prostitute money, and like his friends literally had to dig him out of a hole. It's actually crazy because the shit Barameto said to Supon, I ain't gonna lie. If I was Supon, I would have cut his ass off forever, bro. Cause that was some foul shit he said to Supon. He gonna say, you don't even know what it's like. Your family got bombed. I was like, what the fuck? Hey, bro, that threw me all the way off. Okay. Let's go to the bigger parts real quick. Cause I'm not gonna talk about every single little detail about this. But the way Sagaragu died, man, that shit was sad. And looking back at it retrospectively, I felt like if he would have survived, then Mario, I feel like Mario as a character wouldn't make sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I felt like Mario would have been kind of lost. Like, he would have been so lost, bro, because it felt like he wouldn't have no personality, and people probably, because you can tell throughout the series, he's basically what Aichan was supposed to be. Mario is basically that, a real stand-up dude, a real dude to the very end. And if Aichan survived, I felt like he played such a big impact on all the characters' lives in here. Or the main 6 characters, and a 7th character that I'm gonna talk about a little bit later. They literally have the best set of friends I've seen. They literally would ride or die for each other in a literal sense. I feel like this manga was just really, really, really fucking good. And I feel like this is an underrated masterpiece. I was like, man, read through this, I felt so many emotions because the topics are so sensitive when you get to it. The whole Megu arc and her having to go public about like all the stuff she went through. And she's like 16 or 17 at the time. And for it to not really stick, like, he only had a year of time, but he ended up getting caught up with other shit. And like, but that ended up helping because, you know, in society, when people speak out, some other people start to speak out over and over. And sometimes they can be false, but some things can be true. And then you have to dig deep into it to find it. Because I know a lot of people can't go to the cops when they deal with stuff like that. Because sometimes it just don't help them, or not help enough, if you know what I mean. All right, we're going to get to the ending parts. So the character I was talking about earlier was Sakura, where he just kept failing and falling down a darker path in life. And no matter what, Aichan just kept trusting him. And like he said, just keep word on your promise. And like he was finna join, or he joined the Yakuza, and he ended up getting kicked out because old dude is such a great, like, I'm not even talking about some of the greater characters in here, like them 2 mob dudes that are fucking awesome, bro. They're just really cool. And it's like they play such a good role, and all the boys really helped out in this. They really got his life back together. They set him up. And he bit the bait in such a good way where he's back together at 30 years old, trying to become world champion. He ended up fighting Mario. He beat Mario. And I'm like, and he carries on Mario's will, Aichan's will, of being the best boxer in the world. Mario's body is all beat up to shape because of that fire that they happened at the end. I said one thing about Mario, man. He went through a lot of hell through this series, and I felt so bad for him, man. I was like, I just hope he find peace, man. That's all I wanted for him, and I'm glad he did. The only complaint I had about the ending was, this might be a little nitpick of mine. I didn't like how Kayabata and Ruriko ended up together. I was like, what the fuck? That came out of left field, because I was like, she was messing with Mario, and I know Mario maybe wasn't too interested into her, but it just threw me the fuck off. I was like, them two. I thought, in my head, I thought she would be traveling the world with Mario, or at least old girl would be traveling with them or something. But I know she got a kid and stuff. But she became a nurse. Joe became a popular singer. Barameto in the law firm. So, you know, Supon building his business up, doing his thing. Even though Hayate got discharged from the whatchamacallit, or no, he got fired from JDCF and all that, because he took them charges and stuff, because he didn't want none of his friends to get in trouble like that. He's a real one, man. But he ended up being like one of them juvenile detention people. But he wanted to play a positive impact. Megu was finna have twins, and I was like, finally, they get a good ending. Because, you know, when I seen it was like 235 chapters, I was getting scared that they were gonna do something else, and I was like, oh man. Because, you know, sometimes with manga, it tends to drag out. That's how it's starting to feel. But then they end up tying it all back together. That's how it was starting to feel until this last part of this. I was like, oh, they tied this back in perfectly. I was like, it ended such on a high note for me. I really loved it.